All right, good morning, YouTube. It's a nice Sunday morning. I figured that I'm gonna go ahead and make a video before I head off to Bible class and get some of that sound preaching from Brother Scott. So I'm definitely looking forward to that later on this morning. But what I want to talk about is I want to talk about being bold and fearless. That's what I want to talk about today. And today what I happen to do is that I happen to bring some props with me. I brought some props, that way it could better illustrate the points that I'm trying to make. So I got a feeling that with this video, I'm gonna have to make two parts. So this actually will be part 2. I'm gonna do things a little bit backwards. I'm gonna record part 2 and then maybe record part 1 later on, because part 2, I want to focus on how I became more bold and more fearless. So one of the first things I want to do is I just want to show y'all these pictures real quick, because they say pictures are worth 1,000 words, right? Check out that picture right there. Check that out. Do y'all see the energy in that picture? Do y'all see the masculine energy in that picture? Do you see the dominance? And no, I'm not throwing up a gang sign, by the way, but that was actually, when was this picture taken? About 2.5 years ago. I was 29 years old, and that was me doing a paddle boat racing. I was on a paddle boat racing team in Lake Las Vegas. So that's one picture. I got another one up right here. Look at this picture right here. Now this is a little bit more of a little bit more proper. You see me, I got my shirt up. This was right after a 5K run. This picture was last October, so it was about 7 months ago. I did a Hollow Rock 5K run. You know, you see me posted up. I just finished the race. You really can't tell, but I actually have my medal wrapped around my neck, and I'm holding my shirt up because we get a shirt once we complete the race. You know, so it's almost like a victorious picture. You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't accomplish something. That's the type of picture that would represent victory. Being a man of action. So you see that those are some of the things that I'm talking about as far as being bold and being fearless. Now, I also have a couple of books too. I got this book right here because this is how I'm able to, you know, be bold and fearless. I like to do a lot of reading. One of my favorite athletes, Allen Iverson, Only the Strong Survive, right? Only the Strong Survive. Let me go to this. It's a couple pictures that I want to show y'all on this book that emphasizes my point right here. This picture right here where he shows a picture of his tattoos. So you see that right there? He says, a screaming skull with the red line through it, fear no one. That's me, man. You won't catch me looking like this guy. See, things like that pumps me up. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. In chapter 4, he has a picture of a soldier on his arm, and it says, this is a soldier's head, because I feel like all my life I've been in a war and I've been a soldier in it. That's Allen Iverson for you. That's Allen Iverson for you, man. That's why I got a lot of respect for that guy, cause he was dominant and wasn't scared of nobody. You see what I'm saying? So this is how I happen to adopt that being bold and being fearless principle. Growing up, I had a dad who was like a no-nonsense dad. If he had boys, he would make sure that his boys did not grow up to be punks. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you were going to lift weights. You were going to play football. It was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But the fact is that we actually liked it. So in a way, I answered that warrior call early in life. As far as being a man of action. being bold, being fearless. I answered that warrior call in life when it came to sports. You see what I'm saying? Another thing that kind of helped brought it out in me, having that fearless and having that bold attitude, was being part of the Las Vegas Metro Police Corrections Academy. Now, that by far, those 20 weeks that I was in the academy was probably the hardest thing that I've ever been through in my life from a mental and emotional standpoint. And here's the reason why. It's because there were so many tests. There were so many things that you have to clear and pass in order to become a corrections officer. You had to pass the fitness test 3 times. You had to take 5 exams and take a midterm. You had to take 5 more exams and then take a final exam. So it has the athletic, so it has like the physical, and it has the academic portion of that, right? Then you have to pass your shooting test, your shooting qualifications, pass your defensive tactics qualifications. You had to pass your post certifications online. So there were so many things that you had to test that you had to be focused, man. You couldn't have an off day. And they would throw things at you that you're not expecting. They would throw things at you that you're not expecting just to see how you're going to respond when adversity hits you. How would you like it if you had TAC officers yelling and screaming at you all day long? That type of stuff right there would shake people up. But that's something that you have to go through. Having to run 4 miles in the morning, and right after we finish running, we have to go take an exam. That's the kind of mental toughness that you needed to have in order to get through that academy, man. Them spraying mace in your eyes and have you do an obstacle course while your face and your eyes is burning. And oh, you better not cry, you better not whine either, or they're gonna really go after you. But one of the things that I've shown the TAC officers is that I had heart. I wasn't afraid to go through adversity, even if I happen to make a mistake, not being afraid to go through that mistake. They seen it early. As a matter of fact, one of the TAC officers said, you got heart, Mr. Harris. I want you to bring that heart next week. They already saw that I had that heart, man, that I had that intensity. And I was going to give it 110 no matter what. And I already done a video as far as my time being in corrections, how I didn't pass the field training portion of it. So I was out of a job for 3 or 4 weeks. About 3-4 weeks I was out of a job. Didn't have no income coming in. So just going through things like that in life, man, it helps bring it out of you. Not depending on mom and dad to get you out of a jam. You just manning up, you soldiering up and say, you know what, I'm going to get through this. So that was another part of my life that helped bring that out of me. Now, one more part of my life that I want to talk about is as far as to women, as far as approaching women. See, I was that kid that was more on the quiet side, and I actually done videos about this. I was more introverted as a kid. I'm one of those people who, growing up, was introverted, but then going through life experience, end up becoming more and more turned up, as you would say, as I became an adult. So I remember being a teenager and being intimidated by the fine girls, being hesitant, being afraid to approach some of them. There's some things that still to this day don't sit well with me, man. Like in 10th grade, when I was talking to my high school crush and my voice was shaking. Remember, I'm 15 years old. My voice was shaking. I had a hard time getting words to come out my mouth. I had to write her a letter to see how I felt, to tell her how I felt about her. And I ended up getting put in the friend zone. You see what I'm saying? You know, things like that. You know, having a hard time finding a prom date. I'm telling y'all, I had the hardest time finding a prom date in high school. It was so hard for me to find a prom date. But after looking back and kind of self-evaluating and self-reflecting, I could have made that easier if I was just more bold and more aggressive approaching those girls. You see what I'm saying? So it's things like that that help set me on my path to self-improvement, that set me on my path to being bold and being fearless. Now, when I got into college, oh man, it was a different story, man. Different story. Forget writing girls notes. Forget tell them on the phone how I felt about them. No, I was telling them to their face. So while I'm looking at the camera, let me tell the women something, because I know there may be a few women that follow my channel. One thing about me is that I'm not going to ask you out via text message. I'm not going to do that. That's too passive. That's not assertive enough. I have asked women out over the phone. Okay, that's cool. You know, but at least that the woman is able to hear your voice. So she can tell how aggressive and how assertive you are just by the way you say it, the way you approach her. But what I want to do is I want to go and say it to your face and ask you out and go holler at you to your face. I'm not trying to go through the side door. I'm not trying to go to the back door. I'm going through the front door. You see what I'm saying? I want to be able to look you in the eye and tell you that I like you. Look you in the eye and ask you out. That's the kind of energy and the kind of dominance that I want to bring to the table. I want you to say, man, it's so nice to finally go out with a real man for a change. I want Omar to be my man. I want Omar to be my husband. If she ain't saying that, I want her thinking that. That's the kind of bold and fearlessness that I'm coming with. And I tell you what, even though I consider myself a late bloomer in that area, I've been like that since I was 19, man. You ain't gonna ever, since I was 19, you ain't gonna ever hear a woman say that I was too shy, too quiet, I was too timid. I can't wait to go on one-on-one dates. I live for those moments. To sit across the table with a woman I find attractive and look her in the eyes, man. Man, you see this? This stuff gets me pumped up. I got one more thing I want to share with y'all, because I like to keep a journal. Anytime somebody either compliment me on how I look, compliment my personality, or you know, say that I got potential to be something, I kind of jot it down in my journal. This is one of the things I will never forget. Back in February 26, 2017, that's about 3 years ago, our minister during the worship service kind of made a comment about me, saying that I was being a little guy and stuff like that. And I kind of responded like, oh, you call me a little guy? Okay, that's all right. You know, because I'm like only 5'3" with my shoes off. Like I said, about 150 pounds. So I give myself 5'4" with shoes on. But nevertheless, I ran into a sister as I was walking out the sanctuary. She came up to me and said, I don't care how little you are one of the toughest guys that I know. That goes to show you that size doesn't matter. It's about heart. And you know what? Sister Dillard, shout out to Sister Dillard. She never seen me play football. She never seen me get in any kind of physical confrontation. So how does she know that I'm tough? Because the energy that I give off. So those are just so that's kind of like my personal testimony as far as how I became bold and fearless and how I became the man I am today. So like I said, this is part 2. I'll be coming with the part 1, just kind of giving you tips on how to be more bold, how to be more fearless, how to be more of a man or a woman of action. You guys take care. Peace.